So here we are at the family homestead, and I got a new project to work on. So here we are with a 2009 Chevrolet Impala. No, this isn't an SS, and it's not a Pontiac. But what it is a car that I've got as a kind of a flipper project. So it's got some engine issues. I think it was a cylinder 3 misfire, a traction control issue, and TPMS sensor, which is your tire sensors, is not working correctly. And it throws a code every once in a while for the charging system. So I don't know exactly what all's going on with it, but I do know it is in pretty rough shape considering that it's not a bad looking car. So I'm going to tear into it and kind of let you guys see what's going on with it. The 2009 Chevrolet Impala. This has the 3.5 liter V6 automatic transmission. Cloth interior. Got a little seat damage over there. AM FM CD it looks like. Climate control. You know, little fold up there. Back seats are in pretty good order. Decent tires on the back. Fronts are pretty much wasted. And we got a door. This rear door on this side does not work from the inside or the out. It just doesn't work. So, oh, and got a little bit of rust. Let's see if we can't fix that on a budget. It's always a good sign. Engine parts in the back seat. Let's look in the trunk. It's always good to look in the trunk. Oh, we've got some boom booms back there. Car part. Air door actuator. A used spare tire, but it is there. So while bringing it here, I noticed not only does it have issues with these the tire pressure monitoring system, but also the stability system, and it also stated that it wasn't charging. So either that's a battery or an alternator. So we're going to do some checks to figure out which one it is. So here it is. I'm gonna give her the shakedown, test everything out, and then figure out what we got to do to fix it. So we're cruising down the road, and because of the misfire, it's running pretty rough, but we are still getting pretty decent fuel mileage with that. And of course our battery light is on. It is actually charging, as you can see. And the other issue that we're having is this side is blowing cold air and this side's blowing warm air. So it kind of makes it a little chilly when it's only 35 degrees outside. But the heater itself does work. We just need to figure out how to fix this side's blend door so that that's going to be warm while this is warm. And then when, you know, the weather changes in a few days, we can flip it back to, you know, cold or AC. Yeah, just more more stuff to work on. Almost made it. Literally a block from the courthouse where I'm going to register this vehicle. And because the tag was expired, the highway patrolman popped me for the tag being expired. But the way that works is, since I just purchased the vehicle, I have a grace period to which I will then go in here and get my tag renewed, put in my name and everything, and it should be fine. Welcome to Buff's Garage, home of the no budget build. Today we're working on a 2009 Chevrolet Impala that we bought cheap off Marketplace, and we're gonna flip it for cash. Maybe? So that's right, home of the no budget build. And what I mean by that is, if you go back and look at some of my previous projects, I did it with little to no money. And yes, I did spend some money here and there on some of the things that matter, like, I don't know, brakes, tires. But at the end of the day, I tried to do it by recycling whatever it is I had laying around. I'm working on a 3rd gen Trans Am that is all-wheel drive because I got a parts Suburban sitting in the side yard. I got a 63 Grand Prix running on an LS, controversially. However, it's running that way because I pulled the engine out of a donor that was free. So again, this car we picked up off Marketplace for next to nothing. And since we are a no budget channel, I'm going to take this car, get it running, driving, make it pretty again, and see if we can't make a little money just to put into our other builds. With that, we're still a no budget channel. It almost seems like I'm trying to budget. But I don't want to scare you away. I still got the tappy tap, and I know how to use it. All right, so we know we've got a cylinder number 3 misfire. We probably have some other issues as well. Cylinder number 3 is clear over there on the backside. So let's dig in there and see if we can figure out how to get to it. Let me lose the coat. It's a steamy 29 degrees outside. And I'm guessing it's about, 30.4 degrees in here. So I am freezing my tail off just to entertain you. Wow, at least they're really, really accessible. Well, we definitely need new spark plug wires. These have seen better days. Yeah, it looks like it's just burned right through, and it's no longer making any kind of metal connection. This side looks good. This side, no good. Let's see if I can get a close-up of this. Not sure if you can see in there or not, but there's supposed to be a piece of metal in there that the wire is actually hooked to. And then that piece of metal then clips onto our spark plug, and that's what gives us fire. There's not one, so this wire is no good. Let's see if I got one in the bin. If not, we're gonna have to buy a new spark plug wire. Had to actually get into the project a little bit to get to this. What we got is the number 3 is, yeah, pretty oiled up. Hope you can see that. Definitely needs a little brightening up there, but otherwise doesn't look too bad. But here's what I knew I was going to find when I pulled the plug off. It still had this cap attached to it, so as you can see, it wasn't doing anybody any good, because it should be wherever I would put the wire. There it is. It should be inside this boot, connected to the wire, and then of course that makes contact with your spark plug. We did the old LS swap on the 63 a while back, so I've got some LS plug wires. Let me see if I can find one that's about the right size and just see if we can make it work. The goal for tonight is not right, it's right now. These are all about the same, which is not quite as long as that one, but let's see. Worst case scenario, I might actually make it work. I'm not too confident about the other 2 plug wires back here. They don't seem to be very well connected, and therefore we probably just need to budget all new spark plug wires. All right, we stole one of our old LS wires. It's at least better than what was on it. It had a number 3 cylinder misfire, and it has a few other codes, ABS, the traction control, all that's ran off the ABS, so it may just be a sensor in the actual hubs. TPMS sensors, which are the little sensors inside your wheels that track your air pressure. So those are not reporting as they should. That could be a module, who knows. But you know what, let's just move some tools, fire it up, see what happens. Worst case scenario, it doesn't get better. Best case scenario, we fixed it. All right, here goes nothing. Literally, I don't have keys. All right, if you've seen my other video talking about how to change this out, this one's actually definitely seen better days. And on top of that, it doesn't do anything. So we're gonna change the battery out, make sure the actual remote works. And if so, then we're gonna probably order the replacement buttons. The cover itself looks fine, but sometimes you can get just the buttons and sometimes you gotta get the whole cover. But first we're gonna change the battery and make sure this works. All right, the best way to do this, some people will take a pocket knife or even a screwdriver and just kind of rip it apart, and you end up damaging the plastic, or worse, breaking the cover. We're gonna use this little plastic tool. Open her up. Most likely, the CR2032 being dead is our problem, so we'll get a new one of those and replace it. So just like in the other video, we're going to take our 2032 button battery, open it up here. In this case, our remote tells us that the positive side is down, the positive side is marked, it's the shiny side. We'll put that in the remote, push it back together, make sure it fully snaps in, and now let's test it. We got unlock, we got lock, we got trunk, we got the trunk to pop, we got the lock and unlock to work, so we're back in business. Now we'll look to see if we can find some buttons, or even buttons and a case, And this is fully operational, ready to go now. Aha. After we fix the remote, look at that. Okay, now here goes nothing. All right, when I first got it fired up, it still gave me that cylinder 3 misfire, so I cleared it out with my little scan tool, and now it's got an 1174 code. Said that the fuel trim mixture was wrong, so let's look that up, figure out what that means, and come back and see if we can't fix it. Okay, currently all we have is that P1174. No other codes have popped back up. Our LS wire is working for now. So let's look that code up and see what we got to do next. Okay, so basically what it means is it's reading before the catalytic converter on the oxygen sensor, and it thinks that we're running too lean. Now, part of this is going to be because we were running without number 3 cylinder firing, and this car was running and driving down the road, not well, but it was running and driving, so it was just flooding the exhaust and that cylinder with gas that wasn't firing, or at least not firing consistently. So at this point, I don't believe we have an issue with the coil pack. We do need to buy new wires. We might as well get new plugs as well. So we'll get those coming. But in the meantime, our LS wire is working. We're getting fire on cylinder 3. It's running smoother and without throwing an error code. But it still has that fuel balance code, which is directly read, from what I'm seeing online, it's directly read by that O2 sensor before the catalytic converter. Now the problem with running one cylinder down is you are getting that fuel rushing down into your catalytic converter and could be fouling that out as well. So, in true no budget style, I'm going to look at the battery because it is acting like I have a bad cell on my battery. So we're going to throw it on the old school charger overnight, let it kind of bake and cook. In the meantime, we're going to let this sit overnight. We're going to take her out for a ride tomorrow, put some miles on it, put some fuel through it, and just see what happens. Worst case scenario, I need to replace some sensors, maybe even catalytic converter. God, I hope not. Best case scenario, we flushed it out and it works. Either way, we know we're going to buy some wires, we're going to get some plugs, throw an oil change in it, get some new tires on the front at least, and clean her up, send her down the road. Let's see, it does have oil, but not a lot. Yep, we're down a quart. We'll get some oil thrown in it, and yeah, we'll come back in the morning. This is our old school Century battery charger. It was new in the box. You might have seen that I dug it out for the 63 Grand Prix when I was trying to cold start it. I wanted a battery charger that wasn't going to go fault every time I hooked it up like those new digital ones do. So I used this old guy. get some power. Yep, it's juicing. All right, we'll let it cook overnight, and we'll come back and check it in the morning. Oh, you guys are still here? Well, it's the next morning. This has been cooking overnight. Let's see if our fix still worked. So as I'm sure you can tell, that cylinder 3 still isn't acting right. So, it's a couple of things. We know we need plug wires. Might as well replace the plugs. And on top of that, I guess we need to maybe save up for a coil. I don't know. We're going to test it. I'm going to grab my meter and look at that. But that's all I have for this episode. So thank you guys for watching Buff's Garage. Head over to buffsgarage.com and get you some merch. I got these new hats in. We've got Tappy Tap shirts and so much more. So go check that out. In the meantime, go ahead and look back on the other projects that we've had going at Buff's Garage. We've got an all-wheel drive Trans Am we're working on. I've got a 63 Pontiac Grand Prix, LS swapped and air rided, just for No Name Nationals. And speaking of No Name Nationals, it's coming up. AHRA No Name Nationals, September 21st through 23rd in Sikeston, Missouri. All right, we'll catch you next time, guys.